The first sign was a whisper, soft as the rustle of dead leaves against the window pane. 11-year-old Daniel stirred beneath his blankets, heart thumping a nervous rhythm against his ribs. Moonlight painted silver stripes across his bedroom floor, but the source of the whisper remained shrouded in darkness. He sat up, clutching his blankets, eyes wide and searching. The whisper came again, a mournful sigh that seemed to weave itself into the fabric of the night. Fear, cold and clammy, coiled in his stomach. Something was in his room, something unseen but undeniably present.
What is that?
Hesitantly, Daniel slid his legs out of bed, the wooden floor cold beneath his feet. He tiptoed toward the sound, each creaking floorboard sounding deafening in the stillness. As he neared the corner where his bookshelf stood, bathed in shadow, the whispers intensified, swirling around him like a spectral wind.
Daniel.
And then he saw them. 2 points of emerald green, like fireflies trapped in the darkness, stared back at him. They flickered within the shadows, filled with an ancient sorrow that sent shivers racing down Daniel's spine. Daniel gasped, stumbling backward, his heart pounding in his ears. The green eyes vanished as quickly as they had appeared, leaving him in a silence that felt even heavier than before. He stood frozen, every muscle in his body tense, listening for any sign, any sound.
What was that?
Minutes crawled by, each one an eternity. The whispers returned, softer this time, like a mournful lament carried on the wind. They seemed to tug at him, beckoning him closer, their sorrow a tangible weight in the air. He couldn't explain it, the strange pull he felt toward the unseen presence. Fear warred with a burgeoning curiosity within him.
Why do you keep coming back?
Night after night, the whispers continued, growing stronger, more insistent. They spoke of heartbreak and loss, of a secret yearning that echoed in the silence of his room. Driven by a force he couldn't ignore, Daniel began to whisper back, his voice barely audible above the beating of his own heart.
I feel so alone. Since my parents, it's just me and my aunt now.
He spoke of his own loneliness, of the emptiness he felt since his parents had passed away, leaving him in the care of his distant aunt. One night, as the whispers swirled around him, a figure began to solidify from the shadows. It was the ghost, he realized, his breath catching in his throat. A young woman with long, flowing hair as dark as midnight, and those same piercing green eyes that seemed to hold the weight of centuries within them. She was ethereal, almost translucent, her form flickering like a candle flame in the breeze. Her dress, once a vibrant blue, was now the color of faded cornflowers, tattered and torn with age.
Who are you?
She moved with a melancholic grace, her bare feet never quite touching the floor. Terror threatened to consume him, yet strangely he felt no malice from her, only a profound sadness that seemed to seep from her very pores. He found himself reaching out a hand, his fingers passing through her insubstantial form.
Help me!
The ghost looked at him, her expression filled with a deep longing, a desperate need to communicate something he couldn't understand. Then, as quickly as she had appeared, she faded away, her whispers trailing off into silence. The encounter left Daniel shaken but strangely determined. He knew he couldn't ignore the ghost or the mournful whispers that haunted his nights. He had to understand her sorrow, to uncover the story behind those haunting green eyes. He began to research, poring over old books on local history, his fingers tracing dusty maps and faded photographs.
There has to be something here. Something that explains it.
He scoured newspaper archives, searching for any mention of unexplained occurrences, any whispers of the past that might shed light on the mysterious presence in his room. His research led him to tales of the old Blackwood Manor, a crumbling Victorian mansion perched atop the highest hill overlooking the town. It had been abandoned for decades, shrouded in rumors of tragedy and despair. Locals whispered of strange lights and eerie sounds emanating from within its decaying walls.
Blackwood Manor. That's where I'll find the answers.
Daniel felt a growing certainty that the answers he sought lay within those crumbling walls. He knew with a conviction that defied logic that the ghost and the old mansion were inextricably linked.